Hi, this is Mike with Apple Irrigation. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about lawn sprinkler winterization. In the northern climates, we have to blow the lines out with compressed air so that the underground pipes don't freeze. And we're just going to show you how that procedure works. First of all, probably the most important thing is you need a good-sized air compressor. The rule of thumb is you want 7 cubic feet a minute of air available for every gallon that the sprinkler system is designed for. The typical lawn sprinkler system, at least in Minnesota, is about 10 to 12 gallons a minute. So therefore, 7 CFM times 10 would be 70 CFM of air, or times 12, 84 CFM of air. In my personal opinion, the bare minimum air compressor that you want is going to deliver about 85 cubic feet a minute of air. If you have a little garage air compressor that plugs in to a 30-gallon tank, it's not going to work. You got to have plenty of air available to keep the heads popped up for the entire time that they're running. The second thing is you want very, very low air pressure. What does the work is not the pressure, but the volume of air. So we want high volume of air, 85 cubic feet a minute of air or better, and very, very low air pressure. We run about 40 to 50 pounds of pressure at the compressor. By the time it gets to the system, we're running about 30 pounds of air pressure through the system. The reason why we want low air pressure is because the rotary heads have plastic gears in them and they are water lubricated. We want to run those heads with low air pressure so that they spin slowly when running on air and they don't ruin the gears. The other thing is we want to run a very small amount of time for each zone. We don't want to run rotary heads for a very long period of time because, again, those plastic gears are water lubricated. We have a 375 cubic foot per minute air compressor here. This is way overkill for lawns, or at least for one lawn. We use it to do 2 or 3 houses at a time. We also use it for big farm irrigation. So let's go and hook up the compressor to the home sprinkler system. Okay, here we are at the backflow preventer. The first thing you want to do is go down in the basement and shut the water off to the backflow preventer or the sprinkler system. Sometimes it's hard to find the valve. An easy way to do that is to actually turn the water on from the faucet, and you'll hear water rushing when you're in the basement. You know you've got the right valve when you shut the valve off and you hear the water stop rushing. We use a 3/4 inch air line with some Chicago fittings, and then we also use a threaded to garden hose adapter, and we simply hook up to the faucet that's off of the backflow preventer. Now, it's not a good idea to blow air through the backflow preventer. At least the manufacturers of the devices don't really recommend doing that. If you blow air through the backflow preventer, what you're worried about mostly is too much heat buildup, damaging the plastic parts inside. However, in a lot of sprinkler systems that we take care of, they don't have a fitting on the downstream side of the backflow. If there was a 3/4 inch fitting on the downstream side, we'd prefer to hook to this. A lot of mistakes that people make is they hook air fittings to these ports right here. These are called test ports. Do not ever put air to these. They're not designed for that. You can't get enough air through the backflow prevention device to do a proper job of winterizing. You want to go into some kind of a fitting that allows a lot of air volume to be used. So in this situation, we have no choice. We're going to blow air through the backflow preventer, and we're just going to make sure that we don't run too much time, and we don't run more than one zone at a time. That'll prevent the buildup of heat. And we make sure that this valve is open, and we make sure that these two valves are open also. Now we're going to go turn on the air compressor. Now we've got air pressure hooked up to the backflow preventer. Now let's go and turn on some sprinkler zones. The way we blow out a sprinkler system is we run one zone at a time, and we set each zone for a minute, and a lot of cases, if we can, less than a minute. And we'll run through each zone for a minute or less, and we'll go through each zone several times. Today I've got the ability to use a remote control, so we're just going to turn on our first zone, and sprinkler heads will pop up. Okay, now we're powering air through the system, and we can see that all of the sprinkler heads are now kind of misting like this. This is enough for now. We're going to go to the third zone. Our final zone on, you can already see that a majority of the water is cleared. Once we get that fine mist that's coming out of the heads, that's enough of the water removed. Again, remember, we don't want to run too much time because of danger of wrecking the heads. So now we'll go back to our other zone, and we'll run that one for a little bit of time. When you let the zone shut off and then turn it back on again, the water kind of settles out, and then that initial blast allows a little bit more water to come out of the line. You can see that this whole zone is completely clear, and that's more than adequate. Now we're going to go and look at the backflow preventer and see how we leave that for the winter. Now our air compressor is turned off. We simply disconnect the hose, and we're going to leave this faucet open. Or if there was a plug here, this plug will stay open and off for the entire winter. And these handles here will be left at 3/4 of a turn. You want to make sure that these handles stay in the 3/4 turn position for the whole year, and you want to make sure that this faucet stays open. We didn't blow this particular system long enough, that's why we still have a little bit of water draining. After we're done with the winterization process, you're going to want to go into your basement and open up the drain valve, which I talk about in one of my other videos, to drain the inside pipe. Hey, hope you found this video informative, and if you are in Dakota County, Minnesota and would like your home winterized, feel free to go on our website and get in touch with us. We'll be happy to take care of you. Thanks for watching.